in this game that I'm about to show you, I played very focused and I was tactically sharp, which is why I managed to win this game at this level. And yeah, I think I'm just going to talk about, go over the moves and explain it a little bit. And I might keep this format because that way, when I play the game and I don't have to talk, I just play better than when I have to explain every move. So we have a Sicilian, and I just played my Smith-Morra Gambit as usual. Knight c6, knight f3, completely normal. Bishop c4, and knight f6 is already an inaccuracy because you can play e5 already. If pawn takes, you can trade the queens off, and then you have knight g5, threatening a fork. And let's say the king goes over to e8 to defend, you simply take the f7 pawn. You can even take it with the knight. So I will definitely keep this e5 idea next time I play against this setup with knight c6, d6, and knight f6. But I didn't play e5. I instead castled, which is a completely fine move. And my opponent played e6, so this setup is the most common way to play against the Smith-Morra Gambit. The other setup is only playing e6 and a6. So that's the two setups that black usually plays that are viable against this opening. So I went queen e2, and the point of queen e2 is you oppose the king, and maybe you will have knight d5 ideas. And when black takes, you take with a pawn, and then it's a check, and you win the knight. So that was the idea, and it's a book move as well. So we have bishop e7, blocking the king, which is a very good move, and getting ready to castle. I went rook d1, which is also a very common move in this opening that I play, pinning the pawn to the queen so that maybe I can play e5 in the next move. Since the pawn is pinned, it can't take, and then I might take on d6. But my opponent played a interesting move here, queen a5, getting rid of this pin and just bringing the queen out, maybe even taking care of the e5 square. Very interesting move. So I played knight b5, targeting this d6 pawn, which is weak because it's only defended by the bishop. And yeah, we have our first mistake here, which is knight e5. On my move right here, I spent about 5 minutes, as you can see. I had 11 minutes before that and then 5. And what I was calculating is, if I take, he takes. I take, he takes, I take. Is there a way for my opponent to take advantage of this two undefended pieces? And my answer was no, which is why I played that move. But the engine says, I was also looking at bishop d2, and bishop d2 would have been the best move, but I didn't know what to play against queen b6. And against queen b6, I should have played bishop e3, attacking the queen. If it goes to a5, you actually have b4. And if takes, there's this fork, which is pretty cool. I even had b4 as an idea, but not with bishop d2 and bishop b3 combined. So that was pretty interesting. So I took, and then we had a trade. And also I calculated that on queen e1 check, the bishop can block on f1. So that's not back rank checkmate. And after that, my opponent played queen c5, attacking both undefended pieces, but I have a very nice move here, queen d3. The engine even says e5 as a move, which is pretty interesting, giving up the bishop. and then you take the knight. And they take, and then you take. I mean, there's no way I'm going to play something like this, but it's just not intuitive. So I played queen d3, defending my bishop, defending the rook, and even threatening to play rook d8, which is pretty cool. So my opponent played bishop d7, covering this queen and bishop battery. So I played bishop e3, attacking the queen. Queen drops back, and I went rook d1, and then we have a triple stack on the d file, which is pretty cool. And I can follow that up with e5. The engine even says e5 right now is good. They castled. Now I played e5, but now it's inaccurate apparently because they can jump into the middle, and I only win a pawn. I mean, I'm still completely fine with that. And I'm also threatening to take the bishop, so I had no problems with that. Yeah, bishop e6, and I went queen f3. But looking back, I should have played queen e4, simply because it defends the e5 pawn, and the e5 pawn is weak right now, and you know the queen is indirectly staring at it. But I played queen f3, and my opponent didn't even take the a2 pawn, which I was kind of surprised about. I guess my opponent was scared of this, maybe, the rook on getting onto the 7th rank. But anyway, this is a blunder, but you have to know the right move here. And if you want to, you can pause the video right now and see how to take advantage of this blunder here. It's also a brilliant move as well, but I didn't play it. So I'll give you a few seconds. So the move was queen takes b7. Actually, it's not even a brilliant move, but when I looked at this move, the analysis said that it was brilliant because technically it's a sacrifice, and then you get this back rank checkmate. Yeah, but this is a very difficult move to say. Also, I even looked at queen takes b7, but I thought that they could just take the rook, and then I have to do something about my rook, because I thought that if I take the queen, I get checkmated, but that's not the right move to play. The right move is to take the rook with check, and now it has to block somehow, and then you can even take the queen and then take the rook, and that's the idea. But unfortunately, I didn't play that. I played h3, giving my king a square to move in case somehow I get back ranked, and my opponent did the same, surprisingly. So we traded, and I took a pawn, and now I'm up 2 pawns. And if black takes the pawn on a2, I'm gonna take the pawn on a7. So I'm still up 2 pawns. And I just, all I did here was just convert this endgame. My opponent went queen d5 surprisingly, which just gives me a queen trade. And now I'm up 2 pawns still. And I push this outside passed pawn. I push, and the bishop has to drop back to d5 to stop it. And yeah, I just, yeah, my opponent also played f6, which is really weird. I mean, of course I traded because that pawn was kind of in the middle of nowhere. But yeah, so I brought my king, I played f4, opponent took, I don't know why. So, and yeah, I just pushed my kingside pawns, brought my bishop back here to f6 to defend this pawn on g5, so that my king can go to c5 and help the pawn promote. So that was what I thought right now, and it's exactly what I played. I pushed my king and I pushed the pawn, and the bishop had to sacrifice. And yeah, now I saw somewhere that if you have a pawn and a bishop, and the promotion square is the opposite color of the bishop, it's a draw. But I think that only applies to rook pawns. I think that's what it was about. So if it's a rook pawn, I think it's a draw if the promotion square is the opposite color of the bishop. But in this case, I'm just completely winning. All I had to do was bring the king. Very nice move here, king e6, forcing the king to move away. And then I covered this g6 square with the king. And yeah. And then my opponent resigned here. So yeah, that was a very nice game. I played this very well. I played this without too big of a mistake because I was tactically sharp in that game. If you learned something from this game, I would appreciate a sub. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.